All right, this one might be a little uncomfortable, but I wanted to talk about something that I think is important, which is the limits that you often see with liberal good intentions. So it seems to me like often very well meaning, well intentioned liberals champion causes for minorities and marginalized groups, but their efforts fall short of actually trying to dismantle this very systems that are sustaining and creating the inequality. They want to give boosts, they want to give a hand up, but they don't want to change the system entirely. They don't want to burn the whole thing down. And there are a variety of reasons for that. Privileges accrued under capitalism, patriarchy, and white supremacy create subconscious brakes on radical action for a lot of people. And we're going to talk about that and how allyship dynamics and defensive mechanisms perpetuate the status quo all too often, even though the people involved may have the best of intentions. So, liberals frequently favor reforms like diversity quotas within existing frameworks, but still preserving the power structures that benefit them. Sociologically, privilege theory exposes the ways in which dominant groups unconsciously uphold advantages in race, class, and gender. Intersectionality highlights overlapping oppressions, but the liberal emphasis on cultural fixes sidesteps efforts at economic overhaul, for instance. White privilege warps allyship. White supporters amplify voices of people of color, but often engage in a performative way or withdraw their allyship when it becomes inconvenient. You can even see this like on a corporate level, like with places like Target, for instance. Um, they talked a good game. They promoted how they were a diverse organization with equity and inclusion in their stores. And they sold all of the pride gear and stuff. And the second it became politically inconvenient, they just flipped. So all of that meant nothing. That was just PR. So true solidarity demands decentralizing power, sharing resources, and yielding space. But comfort and advantages often prevail. History is full of failed reforms that polished oppression without uprooting it. The 1960 Civil Rights Act ended legal segregation, yet housing bias, underfunded schools, and the war on drugs entrenched disparities. Post abolition black codes revived servitude. Women's suffrage excluded non whites. New Deal labor laws bypassed black workers. These patterns show elites co opting demands for true equity into more palatable tweaks to the existing system, redirecting the energy of the movement into a form that restores and reinforces hierarchies rather than dismantling them. Cognitive dissonance arises when ideas and ideals conflict with privileges and can be resolved by deeming reforms as enough. System justification defends the familiar, which is viewed as ensuring stability. Moral licensing lets token gestures serve as an excuse for inaction. Fear of ostracism and a belief in the inevitability of the system further stifle disruption. Overcoming all of this requires self examination. We must confront privileges, prioritize marginalized leadership, and embrace discomfort. Incrementalism suits the privileged, equality demands revolution.